Seung finally confessed his feelings to Ryu, saying he liked her. They exchanged a glance, but before Ryu could respond, she noticed the boiling water on the stove. While lifting the pan, she burned her hand. Seung quickly held her hand under cold water, showing his concern. Ryu pulled back after a moment, joking, "This is going to happen every day now that I've started cooking." Seung admitting he just wanted her to be safe. He added, "I know things are complicated with your ex back in town. Take your time. You don't have to answer me now." Ryu stayed silent, his words hanging in the air. That night, Seung was restless, overthinking his confession. He kept checking if Ryu's light was on or not. On the other side, Ryu was equally nervous, trying yoga to calm herself, but eventually peeking out her window to see if Seung was awake. Neither could find peace, caught in the tension of unspoken feelings. The next morning, Seung and his mom shared coffee. He noticed she was wearing the necklace he'd given her and asked if she liked it. She smiled warmly, saying she loved it. Seung promised an even better gift next year, to which she replied she couldn't wait. Just then, Seung's dad returned home. He asked why you hadn't been there for Mom's birthday. Dad looked surprised, muttered an apology, and went to rest. But Seung's disappointment lingered. When Ryu was getting ready to go out, she noticed her clothes didn't feel special enough. She changed into a new dress and stepping out, overheard her brother asking their mom for money. Annoyed, Ryu intervened, sent him away, and advised her mom not to fall for his schemes. As Ryu was leaving for her class, Mom curiously asked, "Why aren't you wearing a t-shirt today?" Ryu quickly replied, "All my t-shirts are in the laundry." Mom then noticed a pleasant fragrance and smiled knowingly, convinced she had dressed up to meet Hyeon-jun. On her way, Ryu ran into Seung, who was heading to his office. Both were nervous, speaking hesitantly and stealing glances. Ryu returned the tie he had lent her and shyly asked, "Can I give you my answer later?" Seung replied, "Take your time." Ryu smiled, but there should be an expiry date for answer. They stopped at a nearby grocery store. While buying milk, they decided Ryu would give her answer before the milk's expiration date. But seeing Seung, Ryu's feelings are awakened and she runs away from there. Then Seung took 3 to 4 things accordingly, and he also picked up some snacks for his office. Later at work, Na-yoon grabbed the milk carton, saying, "I'll drink this one." But Seung quickly took it back, saying, "This one's mine because it has the shortest shelf life." He walked away smiling, holding the milk like it is something important, and keeps it in the fridge. While discussing the idea of the article with his senior, Danho suggests he should gain hands-on experience of a paramedic's daily life to write the article effectively. The senior approves his idea. Later, Danho goes to Moyam's office to share his plan. They approve his idea of becoming a paramedic for a day and appoint Miam to assist him. Meanwhile, Ryu's mom, while spending time with her friend, receives another message from Hyeon-jun requesting a meeting. She agrees and meets him at a coffee shop. During their conversation, she asks him, "If neither of you cheated, why can't you tell me the truth?" Hyeon-jun apologizes, admitting he has no excuse. While they talk, Ryu's dad passes by and feels deeply disappointed seeing his wife with Hyeon-jun. In her cooking class, Ryu receives a photo of milk from Seung. Shocked by the milk's expiry date, Ryu shouted, "Only 11 days?" Her sudden outburst draws everyone's attention. When Ryu's mom comes home, her husband confronts her, saying, "You went to meet Hyeon-jun. If you don't tell me, what would I not have known?" Ryu's mom explains that she suddenly received a message from Hyeon-jun and agreed to meet him, intending to tell him afterward. When he asks what Hyeon-jun said, she replies that he still likes Ryu and wants to take her back to the US. Her husband says, "Don't you know I'm strongly against him? You don't understand how much he hurt Ryu, yet you still met him." With tears in her eyes, Ryu's mom responds, "I just want Ryu to have a better life than mine, one without poverty." Hearing this, her husband leaves without another word. While leaving, Ryu's dad encounters Seung's dad on the way. Both men, angry with their wives, decide to visit a shop and drink together. They spend the entire night sharing their sorrows over drinks. The next morning, Ryu's mom is furious with her husband for staying out all night. When Dongjin unexpectedly offers to help. Surprised, she asks, "You've never helped me before. What's gotten into you? Listen to me. To become an influencer, I need followers." Mom quips, "Oh, so now followers are like instant noodles. Just add money and stir." He responds, "Exactly. Once I get more followers, I'll get sponsorships." Just then, Ryu pulls him aside and they start arguing. Mom shouted, "Stop fighting and go to your rooms." Later, Ryu confronts her mom. "You shouldn't listen to him. You're always giving him money. Why do you keep doing this?" Her mom sighs. "He has a hole in his heart since birth. That's why I don't treat him strictly." Ryu snaps back, "You're taking his side again. Is it such a big deal to be sick?" She storms off, leaving her mom conflicted. While Ryu was returning from her cooking class, she encountered Hyeon-jun on the way. He handed her a jasmine tea and said, "Drink this." Confused, Ryu asked, "What are you doing now?" "I'll start from the beginning, just like when we first met." Hearing this, Ryu recalled the first time they met and how he had given her jasmine tea back then. Before she could respond, Hyeon-jun said, "This is our first day," and walked away, leaving Ryu deep in thought. At the office, Seung and Tae walked out of a meeting. Seung admitted, I told Ryu how I feel about her. Tae asked curiously, "What did she say?" He replied, "She hasn't answered yet, but she will soon." Tae teased, "Does that mean I got dumped? Guess what? You can get dumped too. When Ryu dumps you, call me. Drinks are on me." She then asked, "By the way, who was that guy from the restaurant? Handsome, mature, looked like they were close." Seung didn't reply, but the comment left him feeling uneasy. Later, Ryu's mom on her way home saw Ryu near the venue. She asked someone nearby, "What's happening here?" She replied, "Cooking classes are held here." Surprised, Ryu's mom tells her husband about it at the shop. That evening when Ryu came home, she was startled to see Seung and asked, "What are you doing here?" Seung replied, "Dongjin called me. Said he has a proposal to discuss." Just then, Ryu's mom and dad entered. Without a word, her mom emptied Ryu's bag and found cooking books inside. She asked, "What's this? Why do you have this?" Ryu replied, "It's cooking books." Ryu hesitated before saying, "I've decided to learn cooking." Her dad asked seriously, "Is this really what you want to do?" When Ryu nodded, he frowned. "What about the studies you've completed and your job experience? If you couldn't stick with those jobs, how will you handle the hard work of cooking?" Ryu remained silent for time, and she questions her family. "Why do you people behave so strictly with me? Look at Dongjin has tried so many things and failed, but I'm not allowed a single mistake. Why can't I do what I want in life?" "Okay, you can do whatever you want, except cooking." Frustrated, Ryu leaves the house and Seung follows her. He then takes her to a beautiful garden for a walk. Talking with him lifts Ryu's mood. Ryu jokes, "It's embarrassing how you always end up seeing all the awkward moments in my life." She confesses, "I feel jealous of your family. Your parents are so cultured and you don't have an annoying sibling." Then she realizes, "Oh no, where will I cook now? You can use our kitchen after everyone leaves for work." Ryu's face lights up, then Seung reminds her, "It's already midnight and you still have 9 days left." Hearing this, Ryu runs off playfully and Seung chases her. The next day, Dan-ho arrives at the office on time. Mayum briefs him on the rules and safety protocols when an emergency signal sounds. The team quickly hops into the van and heads out. Meanwhile, Seung's mom plays some music and sits down for breakfast. Her husband notices she's eating cold food. He warms it up and serves it to her. She beams at the gesture, but as he leaves for the hospital, she receives a text from him. Seung has grown up. It's time to tell him. Think carefully before deciding. Her mood darkens as she contemplates the message. Dan-ho's team assists a man surrounded by honeybees and rushes him to the hospital without proper equipment. They handle another emergency, helping a man with severe back pain onto a stretcher and taking him to the hospital, and the team continues their paramedic duties efficiently. Later, Seung stops by a theater for some work. On his way back, he buys popcorn for Ryu, remembering she mentioning it the night before. He calls her asking, "Are you coming to the office? I already spoke to Myung about it." Ryu replies she is on her way. As Ryu leaves cooking class and notices Hyun-jun waiting for her, Seung arrives near the office and sees Ryu and Hyun-jun walking together. He asks sharply, "What are you two doing together?" Hyun-jun, claiming he's here as a client. Overhearing this from upstairs, Myung invites him in for discussion. Hyun-jun explains that he plans to build a vacation home for his parents in Korea. Mid-discussion, Myung gets called and he had to leave due to emergency. He asks Seung to continue the consultation. Seung honestly tells Hyun-jun that he's not interested in taking the project. Later, both of them head to the kitchen where Ryu is practicing her cooking. Their conversation turns into an argument, prompting Ryu to say, "You guys are distracting me. It would be better if you sat aside." Reluctantly, they sit at the back silently watching her. Seung asks Hyun-jun, "Are you really not leaving?" Hyun-jun replies, "No, I've cleared my schedule. Look, the caramel's fragrance is in the air." Ryu interjects, "I'm not making caramel." Seung suddenly remembers the popcorn he brought for Ryu and hands it to her. Hyun-jun warns Ryu not to eat it, but she ignores him and happily munches, quipping, "Save some for me too." Dan-ho and his team return to the office after a long day. Exhausted, Dan-ho earns praise from the captain, who invites the entire team out for dinner. During the meal, Dan-ho asks how they manage the stress of their demanding jobs. One team member jokes, "We date." Dan-ho asks Miyam if she's dated anyone. Embarrassed, Miyam denies having no time. Another colleague teases, "No, she was impressed by that mudflat guy." The captain chuckles and confirms, causing Miyam to drink shyly, trying to hide her blush. Back at the kitchen, Ryu finishes cooking and serves food to Seung and Hyun-jun. She says, "Taste it and tell me how it is." As they eat, Ryu suddenly doubles over in pain. Seung asks, "Should I take you to the hospital?" But Ryu leans on Hyun-jun, asking him for help instead. Seung watches, deep in thought, questioning why Ryu turned to Hyun-jun. At the hospital, the doctor asks Ryu about her symptoms. Ryu hesitates before revealing, "I had surgery in the States 3 years ago." The doctor inquires, "What kind of surgery?" Ryu responds quietly, "I had stage 2 stomach cancer."